There is a great amount of legends which bound up foundations of cities with deer. This poetic detail didn't pass by our city Kamyanets-Podilsky either. The well-known legend is about deer that, running away from hunters' princes, climbed onto the island and in such manner showed the way to the place of building the city. First, the city was named just Kamenets, reflected its essence in name. Kamyanets-Podilsky, one of the oldest cities in Ukraine, is considered a phenomenon of great European cultural importance. A rocky island struck by the tight loop of the Smotrich River flowing in a picturesque canyon, served as a unique pedestal on which over more than 1,000 years both well-known and anonymous masters created a miracle in stone. To understand why Kamyanets-Podilsky is called the Pearl on the Rock, it is necessary to visit our city. You will see a combination of Western and Eastern styles, where Turkish minaret, Catholic and Orthodox churches stand side by side. Architectural heritage of the city that numbers over 150 monuments situated on the territory covering over 120 hectares makes the peculiarity of Kamyanets-Podilsky, such as Polish Filvarki settlement, Russian Filvarki and Pidzamchi settlement, which appeared in the 15th-16th centuries, the Old Town in the 11th-12th centuries, and Novy Plan appeared after 1883. According to historical sources, Kamyanets-Podilsky was one of the most significant cities of Ukraine, such as Kiev and Lviv. Let us start our tour about the city from the central square of the Old Town. The building of the former Polish city administration Ratusha towers above the city just right there. The town hall of Kamenets is one of the oldest town halls in Ukraine. Its appearance dates back to the middle or the second half of the 16th century. At the same time, it is an interesting example of original Gothic edifice with versatile layers upon it. The town hall became the center of complex political life of the city and the witness of a great numbers of dramatic historical events. It took its name after merchant Narzes by name and Armenian by nationality, who allocated funds upon the building of the well. The Arch of Triumph is another monument which enriches the market square. It was erected in 1781 in the honor of the King Stanislav August visits to the city Kamyanets-Podilsky. The main adornment of the gate, beginning from the 18th century, was a group of the pieces of sculpture consisting of 4 angels and the central statue of Saint Yan's statue. It is affirmed by some of the inhabitants of the city that if you pass through the gate, your inmost dream set under it will inevitably come true. The Arch of Triumph crowns the entrance to the territory of Polish Roman Catholic Cathedral. During 27 years of Turkish yoke, the Polish Roman Catholic Cathedral was used as the main mosque of Islam. That is why minaret was attached to the western part of the building. During the board of the Polish magnates, the cathedral restored its activity. The main altar was being constructed and the organ was set, and the preacher ambon the place for confession. Also, the bishop's throne was established and the main facade was decorated by eaves and sculptural portraits. According to the Karlovitsky peace agreement, the Turkish minaret had to be destroyed, but it was not done so. The bishop of that period, who headed the faculty, discussed the question and reasoned in the following way. They would establish the statue of Madonna on minaret, and the crescent, as a symbol of Ottoman Empire, would lie underfoot. Besides, the fine architecture of a monument would be saved, and it would point out the superiority of Christianity over Islam. Nowadays, the cathedral furniture strikes by its luxury. The great monument to Laura Pshizhdetska, Italian marble, 1876, the only daughter of the rich magnates, perched in the prime of her life, having fallen from horse. The monument seems light on the face of it, though it weighs 5 tons. It is the work by professor and sculptor Brodsky. The cult building was highly advanced in Kamenets-Podilsky from the initial stages of its history. The most ancient monument of the cult architecture kept to our times is Mykolaievska Church. It was built in the 14th century by the Armenian community under a management of Sinan Koslubey. A construction is rather low level. It doesn't present any decorative items, neither in its interior nor outside. The fact that it was rather a soldier than a temple is taken on trust. The quarters of three communities, Russians, Armenians and Poles, were settled in Kamenets-Podilsky. The Armenians settled in Kamenets in the second half of the 11th century. The Armenian community played an important role in development of the city crafts and trading. Defensive constructions, trade stone buildings and warehouses, houses and religious buildings, in particular the Triumphal Arch and the belfry of the Armenian Church, have remained up to nowadays. So the eastern part of the Armenian Market Square, the two-storied building in which the Russian magistrate was situated, has remained. In 1858, the Polish king Jan Casimir confirmed the right of the Russian community to use the house, having released it from any taxes. Although in 12 years the Russian magistracy was deprived of self-government, later the house was used for the meeting of Podilian nobility deputies, after that as a theatre. Dragon-like extension made of sheet copper is hanging from its roof. In the next-door building, where the art gallery is situated nowadays, there was the theological seminary, before theological school. Mikhail Dostoevsky, the father of the great Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky, was among the first students of this school. Different epochs and styles abound in the architecture of Kamenets. They are the Gothic style, the Renaissance and the Baroque. All these styles were integrally entered in the construction of Dominican monastery, later the Order of St. Paul I, an anachorete. The church was the belfry of 15th-18th century, monastery of 16th-18th century, Pototsky mansions of 17th century, the fence with the gate of 18th-19th century. All of them formed the united architectural complex. The church was constructed by the monastic order of Dominicans, which settled in Kamenets at the end of 14th century. Located on the trading ways from the countries of the Western Europe and the East, Kamenets became a significant commercial center already up to the end of 14th century. Caravans of merchants from different countries stopped here. Special buildings were constructed for them, which were called caravanserai. That's why the name of the suburb is Karvasare. One of the original monuments of Podilian architecture, Christovo-Dvizhinska Church, is preserved here. It is located in the valley of the river Smotrich, at the bottom of the fortress. The church and the tower of the belfry, with its high tent roof, form a continuous ensemble, which like a jewel ornament is fitted to architecture of the defensive buildings which tower above Karvasare. The very name Kamenets, Kamen is the Ukrainian for stone, reveals the role the city played during the early stages of its history, a city of stone or a bastion on the southwestern border of Rus. Here the thriving handicraft workshops of blacksmiths, potters, sword bearers and jewelers were formed. These people kept in order, renovated and looked after the towers, which together with stone runs made the territory of the town unattackable. In its design the fortress reminds a polygon elongated in shape, surrounded by high stronghold stones, runs with 20 towers, southern and northern bastions. Unfortunately, most of the fortifiers are unknown. Archaeological sources related to us just a few of them: Yov Pretvich, Teofil Schomburg, Jan David, Stanislav Zavadsky. At the beginning of the 19th century, the fortress lost its military significance and was turned into a prison, initially civilian people as well. It existed till 1917. From 1814 till 1823 the national hero Ustym Karmaluk was imprisoned there. One of the towers, Papal, was called in the honor of this legendary leader, Karmalukova. The stone five-arched bridge, which is called Zamkovy, is inseparable part of the fortress ensemble and serves as a continuation of the fortress walls on the eastern side, connecting the old town with the fortress. The bridge was so narrow that two carts could not go past. Round towers protected the road across the bridge on the side of the fortress and the town. During the Turkish, the bridge was widened, imbued with rough-hewn stones. Therefore it was named Turkish. Another important part of the Kamenets-Podilsky defenses were town gates, Miska Brama, and the fortifications of Polsky and Ruski Filvarki, as well as Ruska and Polska gates, Bramas, which made an architectural unity. The old town was like a peculiar fortress, stone walls, towers and bastions around it. In the 60s of the 19th century, the population of Kamenets-Podilsky consisted of 23,000 inhabitants. Most of them lived in the old town, and there was a critical situation with spare plots of land. On the 12th of June 1864, the foundation of the Novoplanovsky Bridge was made. After the cannon salute, a copper plate with the engraved names of the general governor and the bishop was lowered on the bottom of the foundation ditch. The construction lasted for 10 years. After that, the new plan began to develop intensively. The big trade square with its main building, Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, became the public center. Mariinska Gymnasium, at present school number 8, the city administration, at present the building technical school, two-storied residential buildings in Alexandrovsk Street were located in the neighborhood. The public center has not changed much. In 1898, hereditary honored citizen of the city Leninzon began direct work in the construction of the bank architectural complex near the new planned bridge. The buildings of hotel type were situated exclusively in the old town, so the building of the restaurant Gostinny used to be called Grand Hotel before Revolution. The Hotel Bellevue belonged to the colonel's wife Dvornitska. At present it is the building of the district library and the center of culture. Like 205 years ago, nowadays in the city there are more than 70% of young people who are under 35 years old. There are 8 high educational establishments, 6 technical schools, 2 lyceums, 1 gymnasium, 16 schools. And let's go back to the city again. Every year in Kamenets-Podilsky some great shows are held. Tsarskiy Zabavi, Knights Tournament, the Festival of Seven Cultures, competitions are conducted, stages of Ukrainian Championship in motor rally and ballooning. Hospitality and friendship of Kamenets-Podilsky residents are so generous that you feel a desire to visit our city again and again. See you soon!